mind. Lately, I feel like it's me versus me. Don't see competition, why would you compete? Don't even gotta be woke, still gonna be up. I make a bag in my sleep, can't get the hood out of me. You know why I be.
All right, Coach Flowers, you good to go?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. Let's get started here. Thank you guys for joining in. Welcome to the Coach Flowers Show. Defensive coordinator, Dillard High School. So kind to give us some insight for the remainder of the season. Coach, thank you so much for joining us here on the Coach Flowers Show, powered by the Athletes Grind. We'll get right into it, Coach. If you can, just give us a brief bio of yourself, where you've coached, and some things that you've done along the way as you've gotten to be a defensive coordinator at Dillard High School. It's on you, Coach.
Yeah, I want to thank you for having me, man. It's always an honor and a privilege to be able to showcase my talents and the talents of my kids. I started back in 2009 as a defensive coordinator under the tutelage of Darnell Bennett over at Northeast High School. I was there for 4 years. Then I transitioned over to Stranahan, where I was under the tutelage of Callie Adams. He was the head coach. I was a defensive coordinator there, and I went to Ely a few times. And now I'm here. This is my 4th year at Dillard High School as the defensive coordinator. And I just want to give a shout out to my defensive staff, who definitely helping me out along this pattern, along this way, man.
Absolutely. Coach, thank you for that. Greatly appreciate it. And we're going to talk more on the field. But first we want to get to, the last game, Coach, you had another shutout. And for you guys that don't understand and don't know, what Coach Flowers and his team has been able to do, I think over the last 3 years, Coach, you've had 10 shutouts. We were talking earlier this season. The BCAA, Broward County Athletic Association, kind of gave you some recognition too. And if you can share that for us, Coach, what did the BCAA tell you about your defense, Coach?
Yeah, man. We set a Broward County record for allowing the least amount of points in the first half of the season, the first 5 games of the season. The previous record was 17 points, and it was set by Dillard as well. Coach Otis Gray and his defense, Coach Ken Scott's defense, only allowed 17 points in that state championship season. And so now we're on a course to do the same exact thing they did as far as winning the state championship, but we surpassed their record and for only allowing 7 points in 6 games. Well, 6 games now.
Right.
And what I just found out now, that's the state record, not just the Broward County record. That's the state record as well.
Coach, definitely a congratulations to you. I definitely wanted you to share that because I think, it kind of goes under the radar, right? So people see the points and things of that nature. Dillard High has been putting up some big time points on the board, but it's the defense that gives the ball back. And we know defense wins championships, and you're coming off a Tri-County championship last year. But getting more into it, Coach, your team has been able to pressure the QB and been absolutely stingy against the run this year. What's been the motivation behind your defense, Coach?
The motivation of the kids. The kids are the motivation. They really believe they are the black hole defense. And they see the progress. They see what they can do day in and day out, week in and week out. And they really put forth the work and the effort to stay steadfast in what they do. They don't want to give up any points, and they're really standing hard and strong on that. And they believe that nobody can score on them, no matter who you are. And so, I continue to preach that in them. My coaching staff continues to preach it in them. And we believe that's who we are, and we're going to continue to work that way.
That's right. So Coach, and I definitely want to, I kind of know it goes without saying, but I want you really to get into the black hole defense. And why did you name it black hole defense? What does it stand for? Give the people some insight, Coach.
Let me show you my shirt, man. I got my shirt made up, man. Black hole defense shirt.
Okay, all right.
The black hole came about. I'm a science fiction guy. I like sci-fi movies. And I was always trying to find an identity for our team. You know, a lot of people name their positions, name their team, different things. So I named my guys the Black Hole Defense. And we're very stingy. Once you enter the black hole, you can't release. That's just like a matter in space. Not even light can escape the black hole. And that's how we stand by that. And so far this season and last season as well, we've been real stingy, man.
Right.
And so we stand by the black hole, and the community has took fire at the black hole. You know, everybody, my name is no longer Fred anymore. They call me, "What's up, Black Hole?" You know what I mean? So, and that pays homage to the kids every day that go out and put the work in every day to stand by that name, man.
Right. And so, Coach, we don't want you to give any secrets. You know, we know you're getting ready for Hollandale. You're out there at practice right now. I'm sure you guys are just finishing up. But, you know, you talked about the 5 shutouts this season, right? 10 overall in the last 3 seasons. You know, what makes it so tough to score against your defense?
The study. We study hard. Our guys, we have film sessions weekly. You know, periodically we'll go on the board and we dissect our opponent, and we exploit their weaknesses, man. And the kids understand their weaknesses. So once we attack their weaknesses and we shut down what they do best, and they say, now you got to go to something else, and that's not really what you're used to doing. Right. And so that pays homage into what our kids, their study habits, their work ethic throughout the week, and it just pays dividends for what we do on the field, man. Yeah, and it really shows.
Okay, all right, got you, Coach. And you know, what are some things that you know you like that your defense did against Nova last week? You're coming off of a big time shutout. You shut them out at Nova, I believe. You know, what are some things that you guys did in that Nova game that you really like coming from your defense?
Well, we always preach all 11 hats to the ball. We knew coming into the game that, you know, Nova historically they're not you know, a good program as such, not to shut anybody down, but we were preparing ourselves for a state championship run. Right. And so every day in practice, we preach all 11 hats to the ball, you know, alignment and assignment, you know, everybody's tackling, we work on club, hitting rip to get the balls out. So we work on the stuff that from practice, we translate it to the field. And I just wanted to see those guys really put what we did work on in practice and translate it to the field and really make it work, you know, and the kids enjoy seeing the product on the field really work. And so they really work hard at what they do, and they like to be, you know, get out on the field and do their thing, man. So against Nova, yeah, the competition level really wasn't up where we were, but we told ourselves we're not going to go down to the competition level. You know, we're going to go ahead and put our foot on the gas and prepare ourselves to be able to play 4 and 5 quarters if need be against a tougher competition. And so when we do come against that tougher competition, it just be like a regular game for us.
Right. It's not anything big. Got you, Coach. It makes perfect sense. And, you know, kind of talking a little bit more about Nova, Coach. I know, you know, you don't want to play down or anything like that, but was there anything specific? And again, you don't have to give us any secrets, but was there anything specific about Nova that you said, okay, well, they do this well, we don't want them to be able to do that during the game? So was there anything in the game plan that you looked at and say, hey, you know, Nova, they do it well and we don't want them to do that?
It was. That was one of the teams that run a double wing formation, and they run a triple option. And so that was our first time this season seeing a triple option. Right. And I preached all week, you know, they hadn't really been putting up any points on anybody, and we are not going to be the first ones they put points on. So we really we're steadfast at our technique and our studies, and, you know, applied it to the field. And everything that we studied, we saw it on the field. And so when we were able to when we shut it down in practice, it was the same way in the game. So like I said, it goes back to studying. When we study our opponent and we see what they're doing on the field, alignment and assignment is same thing game day. So we just went out there to execute, you know, the game plan as put into place.
Right. And Coach, I want to talk more about your defense because, I mean, I've been out to 2 games already this year. Every time I've seen your defense, going back to last year and the year before, you guys are always ready to play. You guys come out very aggressive, very emotional, play within themselves. You know, you don't see any ticky-tack penalties or anything like that. So very well coached. What is it about, you know, just the preparation that drives the student athletes to come out with the aggression to shut down the opponent each and every week? What is it, Coach?
Well, we stay steadfast in our beliefs on defense, man. We're all out records abandoned. And the kids get really excited when we say that because they get an opportunity to hit somebody in the mouth, so to speak, and not get in trouble about it. You know, and then when it comes to the penalties, when they stuff in practice that they're not supposed to do, we discipline them in practice and let them know that if this thing was to happen in the game, you'll be penalized for it. So we're going to penalize you right now. So they understand the game, they understand the rules, they understand how important it is to be disciplined and not, cause so many penalties to hurt your team and put us in bad situations.
Right. And Coach, you're coming off of, like I said, another shutout. You had South Plantation Nova back-to-back. You guys are outscoring the opponents 128-0 in the last 2 games alone. And you have a young front four in there. When you're beating teams the way you're beating them, does it allow for you to get younger players in the mix and see what they have? And if so, what have you seen from those younger players that you like?
Well, that's the toughest part. One of the toughest part of my job, man, to tell those starters that they got to come out the ball game. Man.
Right.
They're like, Coach, man, I need to get some film. Well, we're already beating these people 42-0 in the first quarter. Let these other guys get some clock. So by us putting up the points and the shutouts like we do, I am definitely allowed to see my younger guys, man. They getting game experience. So if we do a sub, it won't be a big drop-off. Those guys will still be able to keep a tempo, understand lineman assignment. And so I tell my kids all the time, I don't look past the second unit. And so those guys that are on the third unit, they're working their butts off to get noticed by the coaches so they can get some of that playing time, scrub time, so to speak.
Right.
And it's not scrub time with those guys because they're getting a lot of the playing time as well. Second half, they're playing the whole entire second half. Right. So they're getting a lot of film, they're getting a lot of clock. And those younger guys that would normally not get as much clock, they're getting it. And so they're getting that game-like experience.
Right. And Coach, you got, I want to talk about the secondary for a minute. I'm just going to name 2 names. It's the whole entire secondary, so please don't take any offense the players.
No, not at all.
Martinez and Jackson are back there, and they're ball hawks, right? So I was at I think the South Plantation game, and you guys were already up 7-0, and Jackson picked the ball off, and I think Martinez had to pick that game as well. But the defensive backs in your schemes are all aggressive. Talk a little bit about their impact on your overall defense.
Well, it starts off, like you mentioned, two of my younger guys, Antoine Jackson, who's a freshman, and then who's a sophomore, I'm sorry. And then we have Trayvon Martinez, who's a sophomore as well. Right. But those guys been in the system, for a year already. They understand what's going on. But the leader in the secondary is Damon Brinson. Mm-hmm. Damon Brinson, he's like definitely the quarterback of the defense because he studies very well. He's a 4.5 GPA student. So he definitely understands the concepts. He lines everyone up from the secondary position. He knows formations really well. And so he's like the coach on the field. He's like my voice on the field. He almost knows what play I'm going to call before I even do it, knowing down and distance. And so that's a real big help. And he's teaching those guys the game. He's teaching them the way to study and how he became a student of the game as well. So along with Damon Brinson, along with Antoine Jackson, you have Trayvon Martinez, and a couple of those younger guys like Dave Mortimer. He's the brother of Bugs Mortimer. And right. Yeah, man, and I'm quite sure those guys they're very competitive in practice with each other. Like Dave wants to guard his brother every chance he gets, and that's what makes him that much better. So and surprisingly, this guy he has like 3 interceptions already. He has like 4 touchdowns from special teams, and he has 1 on defense. So those younger guys, he's a junior, but he's young to the defense. And with his knowledge coming from Damon, those guys, sky's the limit for those guys, man.
Absolutely. And some of those guys have offers already. I know Martinez has an offer from Miami. I'm sure Jackson will be getting those offers pretty soon, as well as Brinson. But, talking about Hollandale, going into the week with Hollandale, Coach, again, kind of looks a little like a mismatch, but that's why they play the game, right? So what are some things you're going to need to be able to see out of your defense, coach, in practice these next couple of days to make sure that you're prepared to go up against Hollandale?
Again, alignment and assignment. As long as we know how to line up and we know our assignment and nobody's trying to be the hero, you're the hero once you do your job. And I preach that to those kids all the time. You don't have to actually make the actual tackle in order for you to make the play. Like, for instance, the defensive end might set the edge and the running back has to try to bounce it outside. Now my corner's coming to make the tackle or my outside linebacker's coming to make the tackle and the pursuit is there. So by you doing your job, you're just as important as the guy that made that tackle. No, your name won't be called on the intercom, but I know when I go back and watch the stats and I do my grading, I know, listen, you graded at an A because you did X, Y, Z. Things like that. It's just alignment and assignment going into those guys. I hadn't watched any film on them as yet, but I know once I watch the film, I'll know how to line the guys up. They will know as well when they study. Traditionally, Hallandale is always a tough team. They're very scrappy. Not knowing what to expect from those guys, we just got to go in there and be very physical, play with tenacity, all out reckless abandon, and just play black hole defense, man, and go in like it's a regular game and aim for that shutout again.
Right. And Coach, to wrap it up, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this question because the people want to know. But your offense scores so quickly, right? And just at a drop of a dime, they can take it down the field and score in a matter of a couple plays. So how does that impact your defense being going 3 and out or going 4 or 5 plays? How, does it impact your defense at all? I know you talked about the depth, but having to get right back on the field or anything like that, does it impact your defense when the offense scores so quickly?
Well, it doesn't. It doesn't because we're in shape. We're in shape. I make sure that conditioning is our focal point. When we're individual in practice, when we go from station to station, we're sprinting. Then our sprinting, we're coming back. So we're in shape. We're ready to go. So no matter if we're on the field, they put the ball on the 1 yard line. Our job is to stop them. And no matter how much, how much they put us on the field, we're ready to go. We're ready to go every single time, every single down, and it doesn't matter. We'll be ready to go. We're always ready to go.
Right. And in the video shows that, Coach, the huddle accounts show that, Coach, that you're always ready to play. And I'll get you out on this, Coach. You're the reigning co-coach of the week, 5-star athletics co-coach of the week. Congratulations on that. Again, 5 shutouts this season. Is there anything that you would like to add? Not a problem, Coach. Is there anything that you would like to add before we get you out of here as it relates to Hollandale, this week's opponent?
I just say it's not about me, man. It's not about me. I'm just the conductor of the X's and O's, man. My position coaches on the defensive side of the ball, man, they're very, very, very knowledgeable of the game. They echo my voice, throughout practice. I trust in those guys to make the right decisions and putting the right people in place. And I just want to give a shout out to my defensive staff, man. Without those guys, who knows what we'll be, because they the one who put in the really gruesome work week in and week out in the individuals, having a close personal relationship with those kids outside of the relationship that we have. And it pays homage to what we're doing every day.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Coach. You can name names if you like. If you want to get some shout outs to your coaches, go ahead, right ahead. The floor is yours, Coach.
Man, shout out to Darrell Strong, my defensive line coach, man. He's one hell of a guy, bro. He's no nonsense. Like, you make one mistake, you're coming out. In the depth that we have, those kids know if I make a mistake, I might not get back on that field again. So, he really instills the game and the technique into those guys. And like I say, he echoes my voice in individuals and through team and inside run and 7-on-7, things of that nature. Then it goes back to my linebacker coach, man, Coach Franz. He's a professional. He used to play for the Giants. And he's taken that professional attitude and giving it to my linebacker. My linebacker play in the last 2 years has gone like off the charts, bro. And it's all because of him. His technique, his individual work that he do with those kids week in and week out. And they really, those kids will run through a wall for that guy. And, and so that's the type of coaching that I like. And it has my defense, my linebackers running the way they are. And then my DB coach, Coach Smiley, man. Coach Smiley, he smiles a lot, but he definitely knows his job. He knows exactly what to do. He's a technician when it comes to the sport and to the position. And again, he echoes my voice, and all the coaches have bought into what we're doing. You know, they don't second guess what my scheme that I put together. They've embedded my system into their individuals, and they just, you know, roll with the punches, man, and understand what's going on. They're very excited, just like I am.
Right.
And then I also have I say this guy, he's well rounded. Ricky Hemingway. He's what we call like the Udonis Haslam of our defense. You know, he doesn't have a specific position, but he's everywhere. Right. You know what I mean? So anytime we got punishment that's going on, go see Hemingway. Anytime you got disciplinary action going on, go see Hemingway. And the kids don't like to see Hemingway. You know what I mean? But that helps us out on Friday nights, because they know discipline is where we live on discipline. And if I don't do what I need to do, I'm going to see Hemingway.
Right.
And so in all, man, then I got a couple of the young guys. I got a guy that I coached at Dillard when I was there, Coach Davis, man. He's a young guy, just came on our staff a month ago, and he's an energy guy. He helps out my defensive ends, my outside linebackers. Mm-hmm. He flies around. You'll think he's one of the players. He has the cleats on every day. You know, he might take his shirt off every now and then to show a drill. And I really appreciate him for that, man, and because he's brought a lot of energy, a lot of spark to what we're trying to do. He's our hype guy. You know, he rah the kids up, things like that. So the kids really love him. And so, like, all in all, my coaching staff, man, they really do what they need to do. And I appreciate those guys, man, every day.
Absolutely. And for your fans, Coach, I'm sure you're going to need some support down there in Hollandale. Just tell them what time is the game, what day is the game. Coach, what time?
I'm sorry, say it again.
What time for your fans and your followers to come support you?
The game's at 7.
Go ahead.
7 o'clock. The game starts 7 o'clock next Friday night. Not this Friday. We're off this week. Mm-hmm. But next week we have Hallandale at Hallandale. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we're going to go into a hostile environment. And I call every home, every time we're away, I call that our home, man. We want to be taken over. You know, that's the mentality that these guys have every day. And you know, we go into that house, we call it our house. It's our house. And they really believe in that, man. And our goal is to get goose eggs, what we call it, every week. And those guys are really doing what they do, and they're doing it well, man. Absolutely.
And Coach, I just want to say you have some studs on defense, but it's like, you know, everyone on the defense is a stud because everyone plays together. So sometimes you see some star players, they're out for their numbers, but your defense plays as one, as is your coaching staff coaches as one. So great job to that, Coach. Thank you for joining us here on the Coach Flowers Show. We look forward to talking to you next week to see how Hallandale went. And best of luck to you, Coach. Take care of yourself.